Hello, everyone. This is the most intelligent and magnificent bird, Beak, speaking to you today. And in today's video, this will be the final character review on the Outlander's allegiance, and it will be on Gold Mythic Preach. And before we get started, I hope all of you are doing good and staying safe out there. I'm doing okay, and I'm staying safe for the most part. And the preacher, or preach, as if you want to call him that as well, he's got a definitely an interesting look about him. Preach reminds me of those plague doctors from the Assassin's Creed Ezio collection. When you go to the doctor to go get medicine or go get poison, he kind of has a similar look to those doctors. I think they call them plague doctors. So yeah, he definitely has a similar look to those plague doctors from the really early Assassin's Creed games, especially in the Ezio collection, the best Assassin's Creed games, not the trash called Assassin's Creed we have now. I personally don't consider that to be called Assassin's Creed. Just Ubisoft are too lazy to call it something else because it's not Assassin's Creed. But anyway, that's a different discussion for another time. I don't think we should waste any more time. I think we should go ahead and jump into this character review, shall we? Preach. Outlanders. His trait is strong, his role is a tank, and his allegiance is a member of the Outlanders. Now let's take a look at his stats. His attack stat is 20,570. His defense is 12,856, and his HP is 17,999. He's certainly an interesting tank right off the bat, because his highest stat is attack and his lowest stat is defense, but he's supposed to be considered a tank, eh? Alright, let's take a look at his adrenaline rush. The Lord's Vanguard. The recharge rate is 66 AP, so pretty reasonably fast. It's pretty much the standard for most gold mythics today. Deals 600% damage to two enemies. Two enemies that are not the primary target get taunted for 2 turns. This character gets 75% defense for 3 turns. This is a little nice adrenaline rush he's got going on. He's taunting 2 enemies, plus he's getting defense on himself for 3 turns. The 75% defense is going to play nicely into the tank role. And him dealing 600% damage up to 2 enemies, that's actually quite nice for a tank character. His highest stat is attack, so that's actually gonna be pretty good. He's definitely a very odd tank, because I would think a tank's highest stat would be defense or HP, not attack, but He's definitely an interesting tank for sure, because he's dealing a pretty good amount of damage for a tank role character. Yeah, 600% damage up to 2 enemies is nothing to sneeze at whatsoever. Plus he's taunting 2 enemies and he's getting 75% defense. A nice adrenaline rush overall. Very interesting for the type of character he is, certainly. Now let's take a look at his signature move, Tough Penance. The initial cooldown is turn 1, number of cooldowns 2 turns, number of uses unlimited. Daze 2 enemies for 2 turns, taunt 5 random tough enemies for 1 turn. Okay, this signature move is both good and bad. Allow me to explain. The first very good part about it is the fact that you are dazing 2 enemies for 2 turns. That's really good. I mean, you are potentially stopping some very powerful signature moves from going off for 2 turns, and depending on the situation you're in battle, that absolutely can make a huge difference if you think about it. So the daze part of it, that's very good. Now, why I think the signature move has a bad part is the fact that it's not the taunt itself. The taunt is very powerful, but the fact that the taunt is trickled down to one specific trait only, that's the bad part about it. Now, if it was to taunt 5 random enemies for 1 turn, regardless of trait, then I would say I wouldn't, that would be a really good signature move. And it's actually still a pretty decent signature move, but you're not going to come up against tough teams all the time. There definitely are tough teams out there. Yeah, definitely. Don't get me wrong on that. Like, you have the Priya teams. Teams with Peacekeeper, Andre, St. Patty Priya, possibly Davy. I'm trying to think of all these tough tunes that you potentially could come up against. So yeah, there are tough teams out there, but you're not necessarily going to be wanting to face. You're not wanting to be facing tough teams all the time. So that's where that bad part of the signature move comes in, but it's still pretty decent. Very good and interesting adrenaline rush, and a pretty decent signature move. Very good, actually, because that daze. No matter what I think about the second half of the signature move, the daze part is still very good. Definitely, without a doubt. Now, let's take a look at Preach's Mythic Abilities. Strength. 40% critical hit resistance. Obviously, for this type of character, especially if you build that defense up, that's going to be really good. Strength, so I would definitely highly recommend leveling that one up, because it's going to help out even more with him taking less critical hits. So that's going to be really good. Divine Favor. When being attacked, this character heals by 80% of their max HP, except when at max HP. If you've seen Locke's video, you obviously have seen how good this is. This is going to be, it's going to be very annoying trying to take out Preach, especially if Divine Favor is leveled up all the way. He's pretty much healing himself whenever you do damage to him. So, yeah, heal reduction. I can definitely see heal reduction coming back into play just to deal with Preach, for sure. so he'll stop that healing, at least somewhat. It'll be, if you have that heal reduction coming back into play, it'll be a little bit easier to help take care of Preach, and that's very nice. So Divine Favor is a really good one for Preach for sure. I would definitely recommend leveling that one up. Shunning. When being attacked by an enemy with the taunt status, 100% chance to reduce the damage taken by 40%. Again, with this guy's kit, that's going to be a pretty good one. So I would 100% recommend leveling him up, because most of the time when you do the Adrenaline Rush, you're going to be taunting people, and those taunted enemies possibly could be hitting Preach. So, and with that taunt status for the 2 turns, yeah, I think it's 2 turns. Yeah, for 2 turns, with that taunt going off for 2 turns, you know, he's going to take damage, and you can help reduce that damage even more, which is going to be really great. So, for this guy, I would recommend leveling up Shunning. Blessed. When being attacked by an enemy with the taunt status, this character gets 20% AP. Think of how crazy that is. We have 2 mythic abilities that have to involve the taunt status when being involved. So, Blessed is definitely one I would recommend, because if you are getting attacked by someone that has been taunted, while they're still taunted, you are initially going to get your AP back, and that's going to be a really good thing, because if you keep that up, you can just keep taunting enemies and dealing damage to enemies, and that's going to be, that's going to be really annoying. So I would recommend leveling up Strength, Divine Favor, Shunning, and Blessed. There isn't one I would pass up on if you decide to go for Preach. He's definitely a very interesting character. Now, let's get to his specialist skill. Berserker 2. Whenever this character takes damage, they gain 40% attack until the end of their next turn, in addition to any existing attack increases, including prior activations of this skill. Usually this works on attack tunes, doesn't it? You know what? I know there's one not damage dealer, but one tank character that actually has Berserker, but I think they only have Berserker 1, and that happens to be Mercer. But with this guy, Berserker, I think is going to work really well, despite him being a tank, because, you know, that attack is going to build up, and if you have someone on your team that has a strong attacks weapon, that however many strong members of the team that are on your team, you know, that strong attacks is going to build up with Berserker, and that's going to be really nice, especially since he's doing a decent amount of damage on his Adrenaline Rush. Yeah, Berserker combined with strong attacks, that's going to be a really nice combo, to be honest. Now let's take a look at his weapon. Preach's Savage Cross Staff. 40% attack, a huge bonus to AP when attacking, improved AP down when hit. When being attacked, 60% chance the attacker gets minus 50 AP. Reduce damage taken from basic attacks by 15%. I gotta say, Preach has one of the most unique looking weapons in the entire game. I mean, he's certainly got the whole religious thing going on, and with the necklace, and why not with the weapon too? I mean, why not? You might as well. So he's pretty much like the new Jeremiah, I would assume, just by the look. Is Preach in a roadmap in the game? I'm not too sure. He actually might be. But if he is, I can imagine him being like a newer type of Jeremiah. You guys remember Jeremiah and how crazy he was. So I can imagine Preach being down that same road of craziness for sure. But yeah, his weapon, it is one of the more unique looking weapons for sure. And its stats are definitely all over the place for sure. The 3rd and 4th slots are actually very good for this character, so I don't know if I would even bother changing the 3rd or 4th slots because they work very well. The 40% attack is very interesting. If I was to have the weapon and to work on it, I would actually take off the huge bonus to AP when attacking. And I would probably put defense. Try to go for 40% defense. I know it's not, not that high percentage of defense, but he needs some sort of defense. So I could see you going that way, taking the AP off and just try for 40% defense. Or, I mean, if you really wanted to build up that attack, I don't know why you would. I mean, he's not doing huge amounts of damage, but I guess you could try to go for 50% attack. But what I would do is I would take the huge bonus to AP off and try to go for 40% defense, because I want to try to keep this character alive. Try to give him some survivability, you know what I mean? But other than that, I mean, he's got a very unique looking weapon in all of RTS. It matches his theme for sure. And they did a really good job with the artwork. I gotta give them that, yeah, for sure. And like I said, he's definitely got this unique look about him. He looks like those plague doctors from the earlier Assassin's Creed, especially from the Ezio collection, from Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. I'm pretty sure they're in Revelations as well. I can't remember. I'm currently actually playing Brotherhood. And for the longest time, I thought Assassin's Creed 2 was my number one favorite Assassin's Creed. Oh no. I forgot how good Brotherhood actually was. So no, my new number one favorite Assassin's Creed game is Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Just the combat flows really nicely. It has a really good story to it. Assassin's Creed 2, AC2, is still very good, but the combat is very janky compared to Brotherhood. Brotherhood, the combat flows real nicely. For way back when, I think in 2010, 2011, I can't exactly remember, but yeah, that's when Assassin's Creed was the shit. Now, Assassin's Creed is literally shit. It's not even Assassin's Creed. Sure, they call it that, but I kind of went over this earlier in the video, but yeah. Preach, he reminds me of those plague doctors from the Ezio collection from the Assassin's Creed games. That's where that look comes from, because I can't think of what else it would come from. I'm sure there might be something out there, but the Ezio collection of the Assassin's Creed games, that's where that look That's where that look comes from me. They have that similar type of look for sure. And yeah, so this is going to be my last character review on the Outlanders Allegiance. And from now on, I'm going to try to do character reviews on newer characters. But if there's a Pacific character or a Pacific Allegiance you guys would like me to do character reviews on that I haven't done despite them being older, all you have to do is let me know down in the comments if there's a certain character you would like me to go over. Just let me know and I will definitely consider doing it. That's all you have to do is let me know and I'll definitely consider it. But yeah, other than that, I am definitely going to be doing character reviews on newer characters at random. So I'm not sure exactly when my next... Excuse me, I can't talk. I don't know exactly when my next character review is going to be, but potentially maybe on Maggie Green. I don't know. We'll see because she's supposed to be coming into the game. So, I don't know. We'll definitely see, but that's my plan on character reviews, is to do character reviews on newer characters. But like I said, just let me know if you would like me to do other character reviews that I haven't done, and I will definitely consider doing them. He definitely... I know I sound like a broken record here, but with him looking like one of those plague doctors from Assassin's Creed, the Ezio collection, I actually do like the look very well. And yeah, and I'm sure he's going to be as crazy as hell as Jeremiah was. I can definitely see that coming into the game in some way, for sure. And he's a very interesting tank character with the attack stat being the highest. And I don't think I have much else left to say. What do you guys think of Gold Mythic Preach? Let me know down in the comments. I want to thank each and every one of you for stopping by and for your continued support. Or if you're new, welcome in for the first time. All of you are very awesome, and I thank you again. And don't forget to hit the bell and switch on all notifications so you know the second I upload to YouTube. I am Beak, and I'm gonna go fly away back to my nest. Until next time, bye guys.